You ever have one of those days? You finish a long, grueling shift, you look at your to-do list, and it feels like you've been running a marathon but somehow haven't moved an inch. That feeling of being totally and completely drained, like you're just running on fumes no matter how many hours you put in? Well, if that sounds even a little bit familiar, I promise you, you are not alone.
In fact, check this out. Research from author Tom Rath actually puts a number on this feeling. A staggering 89% of us feel like we're operating without much physical energy to spare. So that exhaustion you're feeling, it isn't just you. It's a collective reality. We're pretty much in the middle of a silent global energy crisis.
And this gets right to the heart of the problem. We've all been taught to manage our schedules down to the minute, right? To optimize every single second. But what if we've been fighting the wrong battle this whole time? The real issue isn't our calendar, it's our capacity. We've been trying to manage the clock when we should have been managing our energy.
So how do we make that switch? Well, here's our game plan for today. We're going to dive into why energy is the real fuel for getting things done. We'll break down the 4 key energy tanks you need to keep full. Then we'll look at some practical rituals for how to do that, see the surprising proof that this stuff actually works, and wrap it all up with one big takeaway.
Okay, let's start with the big idea. The fundamental pivot that honestly changes everything. We've got to shift our focus from the clock on the wall to the charge in our own internal battery.
I mean, just think about the difference here for a second. Time is finite. Once a minute is gone, poof, it's gone forever. We all get the same 24 hours. But energy? Energy is a completely different ballgame. It's personal, it's internal, and, this is the most important part, it's renewable. It's the actual capacity to get work done, and you can learn to expand it and fill it back up systematically.
So, to really get how this works, let's reimagine our energy as coming from 4 totally separate sources. Think of them like 4 different fuel tanks in a car. To perform at your absolute best, you've got to keep all 4 of them topped up, because you know what? A leak in one will eventually drain all the others.
So, tank number 1, it all starts with your physical energy. This is the foundation, right? It's the raw quantity of fuel you have at your disposal. This is all about your sleep, your nutrition, your fitness. Without a solid physical base, everything else just becomes a massive struggle. This is the bedrock.
Then we've got your emotional tank. Now this one determines the quality of your energy. Think about it, you can have a ton of physical energy, but if it's all fueled by frustration or anxiety, your performance just tanks. Positive emotions, like feeling engaged or optimistic, that's the high-octane fuel that drives incredible results.
From there, let's look at your mental tank. This is all about your ability to direct your energy with laser-like focus. And in our world of constant pings and notifications and distractions, this is the tank that's always springing new leaks. It's about being able to apply your energy where it actually matters without it scattering all over the place.
And the 4th tank, and honestly, maybe the most powerful, is your spiritual energy. Now, this isn't necessarily about religion, not at all. It's about your purpose. It's that deep well of motivation you tap into when your daily work connects to your deepest values. This is your why. It's the driving force behind all the other energy tanks.
Okay, so knowing about these 4 tanks is one thing, but the real question is, how do you actually refill them? And listen, this isn't about gritting your teeth and just using more willpower. That actually drains your tank even faster. The real answer lies in building intentional, automatic habits. Let's get practical.
The key here is to think in terms of rituals. So, a ritual is just a highly specific behavior you practice on a schedule until it becomes second nature. Just like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it, you just do it. By turning these energy-renewing activities into automatic habits, you save your precious willpower for the work that really needs it.
So for physical energy, a super powerful ritual is to work with your body's natural rhythms, not against them. We all have these things called ultradian rhythms, these natural cycles of peak energy that last about 90 to 120 minutes, followed by a dip. So the ritual is simple. You work in a focused sprint during that peak, and then you take a real break. And I don't mean checking your phone. I mean truly disengaging to let your body recover.
Now, to refill that emotional tank, you have to become the author of your own story. It is so easy to fall into a victim narrative, right? Blaming other people, blaming circumstances, and it just sucks your energy dry. The alternative, adopt an empowered narrative. Here's a great little trick for this. It's called the reverse lens. When you feel wronged, just ask yourself, how might the other person be seeing this? What part of their perspective could actually be right? That simple shift can transform a negative, draining situation into one that actually builds positive energy. All right, for your mental tank,
You've got to play defense. You have to stop the leaks. And you do that by creating rituals that guard your focus. Simple habits, like checking your email only twice a day, or finding a quiet corner for deep work, they're absolute game changers. And please remember, multitasking is a myth. Every single time you switch tasks, you pay a mental tax that can cost you up to 25% more time just to get back on track.
And for that all-important spiritual tank, the ritual is really one of reflection and alignment. You just have to ask yourself, what are my sweet spot activities? What are the parts of my job that make me feel the most effective, totally absorbed, and genuinely fulfilled? The whole point is to identify these and then be absolutely ruthless about scheduling more of them into your life.
Now I get it, this all sounds great. Sprints, breaks, sweet spots. But let's be real for a second. Does this investment in your energy actually translate to real-world bottom-line results? Well, let's take a look at the evidence.
A study was done at Wachovia Bank where they put a group of employees through an energy management program, just like the one we've been talking about, and they compared them to a regular control group. The results were, well, they were astounding. The group that focused on energy management outperformed the control group by 13 percentage points on loan revenue and an incredible 20 percentage points on deposit revenue. This isn't just about feeling good. This is a massive, quantifiable leap in actual performance. So, as we start to wrap up here, if you remember just one thing from all this, please let it be this. The goal is not to cram more hours into your day. That is the old broken model.
It really all boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful idea. The real key to long-term success isn't burning the candle at both ends, it's sustainability. True high performance is a rhythm, not a relentless, soul-crushing grind. It's about working in a way that allows you to show up tomorrow and the next day just as energized and capable as you were today.
So, I'll leave you with one final thought. This isn't about some massive, overnight life overhaul. It's about making small, strategic investments in yourself. So, ask yourself this. What is one small ritual you can start tomorrow? A 10-minute walk after lunch? Turning off your notifications for just 1 hour of deep work? Choosing just one small thing is the first step to refilling your tank. What's yours going to be?